each cracker you will need 5 cardboard tubes, some thick card, PVA glue and a glue brush, a ruler, something to mark it with, a crafting knife or a sharp pair of scissors, some ready mixed white paint and a glue gun with glue sticks. To decorate the cracker, you'll need some cotton. I'm using this Christmassy Christmas tree design. I've also got some silver self-adhesive paper, the self-adhesive vinyl wrap, and that's go around the middle. I've got these diamante ribbons which you can cut up and stick on, and some silver elastic rope literally to tie up these things. For decoration purely, I've got some other things. We've got some silver deers, we've got some pine cones, we've got some silver ribbon, we've even got some little tags if you want to personalise them. And finally, to go inside the crackers, you need these. These are the snappers. You can't have a Christmas cracker without a snap. You can get these online. What I've also got is some of the toys that came out of last year's Christmas crackers. I've got a little tea strainer, a little photo key ring, another key ring and airplane. But I've also got some little Lego figures, a dice, a pencil topper, various things I've collected over the year or so. Anything that can just fit in to one of these cardboard tubes you can put in. And the all important thing I've got as well is some jokes, riddles and charades to go inside. We're going to use 2 cardboard tubes to make the centre of the Christmas cracker, but we need to cut them down. We need to cut them down so that in total the Christmas cracker overall is about the same length as a snapper. So they need to be in total that length. What we're going to do is we're going to make these 8 centimetres long each. We're going to do that by marking out 8 centimetres along each of these. And take our crafting knife and cut away those spare centimetres. These will now form the centre of the cracker. So what you have now is the basic setup of your Christmas cracker, which is the perfect length to put the snapper in. Now these, your end things, they're quite weak, so if you're pulling them like these, you need to make sure they're reinforced. So what we're going to do with these two is we're literally going to snip up the centre of both of them. I'm going to cut it in half this way. And the same for this one. Halfway up here. So you're left with 4 bits of cardboard and 2 things. Now these have dried, you can see that they're much stronger than they were as individuals. So these will be the end bits which people pull. Because the material I'm using is light, I'm going to paint these with white paint so you don't see the cardboard underneath it. It's entirely up to you whether you do this. So while that's drying, I'm going to cut the material. I need 2 pieces of material for each cracker. So one to cover one end and one middle, so effectively half. Now these are only 5 plus 8, which is 13 centimetres long, but I'm going to make it 23 because we need to be able to wrap around the edges, and we also need this little bit here to provide the cracker bit. So 23 centimetres, which is about that width. Click there. That's 23 centimetres. Now it needs to be able to wrap around the cardboard tube. Now if I just use this as a measure to there, that would be 17 centimetres, but I'm actually going to cut it at 20 centimetres. Just mark it a little bit. So that's 20 centimetres. I'm going to use pinking shears purely because I have them and they're nice and sharp. It means then the edges won't necessarily fray. Edges of the material. So I'm just going to cut along here. So this is effectively, it's going to be wrapping around 1/2 of the material, obviously inside out, making we've got enough to tuck in and enough of there. So this is 23 by 20 centimetres. So for each cracker, I need 2 of those pieces. Now we've got the cotton. What we're going to do is make the middle bit the centrepiece that holds it all together. So this is just literally a piece of thick card covered in this self-adhesive paper. So we know it's 20 centimetres round, so we're going to keep 20 centimetres as a marker. And it needs to be about 8 centimetres deep. We use a pen to mark around it. We want about 2 centimetres. This is handily laid on either side, so 2 centimetres in, so to here, and about here. So effectively going to measure, cut along that bit there. Effectively we're going to cover this with this silver paper. What we want to try and do is make sure there's no bubbles or ridges in the underside of it. So I'm going to start from one end, peel it off. I'm literally going to put this in with a little bit of margin round either side. So as we peel this away, it ends up still being nice and flat. Smooth it down as we go. When we turn it round, it's nice and smooth, and it sticks nicely to the underside. Right, so now we've got that, we need to try and edge it. So what we're going to do for each of these areas, I'm going to cut out a little bit of a corner, a triangle going past it. Effectively, we can just fold it down like wrapping paper. Start with the short side to make it easier. This in there, and this one here. Fold it over. You can see what I'm doing on the other side. It's got nice and neat edges then. And then fold this one, start from the middle, press it out nicely, just as quickly, as tight as you can, and press it down. It doesn't matter so much about this side, as long as the other side looks good, which it does, perfect edge. And there we go, we've got some neat corners going on. It should look amazing on the other side, which it does. Now that these are dry, you can start to assemble the crackers. So take one of the main bits and one of the end bits, lay them on your cut out cotton. So we want to make sure there's enough at either end to tuck that in. Make sure it's the right way around to start with. You want to be gluing onto the back end of the underside of the cotton. You want to make sure the straight edge is at the end, so the straight edge is there. There can be enough cotton to go into those and enough draw there. So placing like this, effectively what you're going to do is you're going to roll the cotton over, gluing it along and glue it onto there. So what we're going to do now, move this piece of cotton out of the way, is we're going to glue, again just normal PVA glue, these 2 rolls. So the end roll, Just going to do the outside first, we'll do the inside in a minute. Put it a little bit away from the end of the cotton. And the same with the big roll. But this one, it doesn't really matter which way it is, because it's going to be covered either by the material or by the silver card. Make sure you've got enough glue that it's all going to stick on nicely. Right, and again, I'm going to leave a gap about 5 centimetres, and that's so that we can fold those in there. And then we're going to start to roll. We're going to start to roll the cloth and stick it as we go. Make sure it's smoothed out as we go all along. Now when we get to the end, there won't actually be anything for the, in certain bits of it, there won't be anything for the cotton to glue onto, so we actually want to just glue a bit of the cotton itself. A bit of glue all along the outside of the cotton so that it sticks onto itself, and you can keep rolling. There we go. So you end up with a roll, bit in the middle, starting to look like a cracker shape. And this bit here is glued down onto itself. Now we can glue the ends, so get the glue and glue inside the cardboard tube all the way around. You just need plenty of glue, we're just going to let it all dry nicely anyway. And where we've got overlaps of cotton, we can put some glue inside as well, so it glues onto itself. Then we're going to push it in, literally just push it down into the cardboard tube, wrapping around the edges of the way. You might need some more glue on certain bits if it's not sticking to itself. It should be able to just stretch it out like that. There we go. And the same on the other end. Then the thing as well. And then we leave that dry. You can do exactly the same with the other two pieces. Of cracker, flying away. So now that these two pieces are dry, we can start to assemble the main structure of the cracker. So I've pre-rolled this. This is going to be the main bit of the middle. It needs to be really quite tightly rolled so that it provides that pull apart. If it's too loose, it'll just come straight out. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start by putting some glue all along this side, mostly on this side, and along here, just halfway along, purely so that it sticks to this side of the cracker. I'm then going to roll it with the two parts together. This is so that when it is stuck, it provides a little bit of pull on this, and it's not too tight or too loose around the other half. Now we've got to the end and it's rolled down itself. I'm actually going to glue the whole thing around, so all around here. A bit of glue, you need to hold it in place quite tightly so that glues lovely and nicely on there. Hold it in place for a little bit while it dries. And then you can see that one comes out, that one stays in because that's glued and that's not perfect. Just make sure that this is completely glued. Just put a bit of glue in the corners. And again, just press on down. Make sure it's glued properly. With that done, I'm now going to decorate the middle of it with this sequin ribbon. So this is basically just a roll of ribbon. I've cut it to the right size. now that's glued, what I'm going to do is put this ribbon round, this sequin ribbon, just cut off the roll of ribbon there to make sure it's the right size. So I'm going to make sure that's just glue the edge. That sticks nicely to that. And wrap that round and glue it on various points across. Whoever invented glue guns was just a genius. There we go, that's done. Just do little bits of the ends. Make sure it's tight and held down so that's there like that. Just check if this part still fits. Yeah, perfect. So when this is a cracker, these will be pulled together like these and they'll pull apart. So the next thing we can do, we can take one of these snappers. We're going to feed it through this part and to make sure, make sure it's in place. We're actually going to secure it. We're going to glue it into one of the handles. Okay, so roll it back, put a little bit of glue, in here. And it's literally a case of holding the snapper onto it while it glues in place. Okay, now we take the elastic, we're going to secure this one side of it. This is what you're going to be to replace it when it's done, when you've snapped it. You'll actually undo this elastic, put another snapper in, load up the insides of the cracker as you want, and away we go. So make it nice and decorative. You can see in there that the snapper is glued and that's in there, so you can see there it's secure in there. This is now ready to fill and to decorate properly outside. So now it's time to finally assemble these crackers. So we need to put in the contents. This one I'm going to do for Nanny, and it's a little photo frame. I haven't got a picture of my daughters, but it could go in there. And I'm going to put a little sign, it's already pre-written, says Nanny on it. And I'm going to do for all of them I've got a list of 3 things. It's charades, a charade, and a joke, and a riddle. In place, it's really good. So now comes to finally assembling it. Put that through there, making sure it's all tucked in nicely. That's what it's going to look like. The thingy, the snapper, has come out the other end. You can see it there. What I'm going to do is actually glue it right at the little end here. And put some glue in the corner of that, and that, edge of that. I'm going to glue that in there. So now you can see the snapper is actually glued into there now. And the final thing is to get some more elastic. Oh. Just gonna cut it off. Yeah, glue this. We're gonna glue it. We're gonna tie this in. Be as decorative as possible. There we go. You can take more care with yours. But I think that looks pretty good. It's Christmas card, just for Nanny. A Christmas cracker rather, just for Nanny. Got a snapper in there, it's glued in both ends so that when you pull it, it'll snap, it'll pop and it'll go. Brilliant. So this is a finished product, and just to prove it, so to reuse these ones now, all you need to do is undo the elastic, glue in the ends as before, the elastic back in place. Reload jokes and the gifts. Ready to go.